So let's talk about something that's probably hit all of us at some point: money fights, right? I'm not talking about the regular, where's all the money going arguments. I'm talking about the deeper stuff when your finances are affecting and impacting your relationship. I've definitely been there, and fellas, I know you have probably been there too. Today, we're going to break down how to become financially fit as a couple without losing your peace of mind and your relationship in the process. I am Tamoa Danielle. Now, I think we all know that money is one of the biggest sources of tension in any relationship, but it's rarely about the money. It's about trust, communication, and our vulnerability. The questions are, how often do you and your partner talk about money? Are the conversations honest, or do they lead to even more arguments? I think that for men, and fellas, you tell me, is there avoidance when talking about money? Do you feel like it's easier to stay silent than actually deal with the confrontation? The problem is, when you're doing this, what you're really building is tension and avoiding the conversation and making it even more stressful, which actually makes it worse. I think as men, sometimes you're taught that you're supposed to be providers and that's how you prove your worth. But really, this mindset creates pressure. And to be honest, it just leads to a lot of stress and a lot of burnout. Do you feel that sometimes the weight of the world is on your shoulders when it comes to money? Do you think that this pressure makes it harder to ask for help from your partner? The thing is, it is okay to share the responsibility, and being the provider isn't just about paying bills. It's about working as a team to build something that lasts for a lifetime. The thing is that many men, they feel like their money is tied directly to themselves. And if things aren't going well financially, it can definitely impact how you show up in your relationship. You might get defensive, shut down, or even try to avoid the topic altogether. Listen, have you ever felt embarrassed, ashamed because you felt like where you wanted to be financially? Look, before we even get into solving financial problems, we have to deal with our mindset. Our money does not define our value. Definitely doesn't define your value in your relationship, but how you communicate and support your partner does. Start thinking about money as a tool to build your future together, not something that totally divides you. So we've talked a little bit about money and the emotional side of it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to break down 4 ways to become financially fit as a couple. Coming in at number 1 is, you guessed it, our money mindset, unpacking financial trauma. So let's be real. A lot of us are carrying around financial trauma from our past. Maybe you grew up seeing your parents struggle, or maybe you never learned about how to talk about money. That stuff shows up in your relationship. And if you don't address it, guess what? It's just going to completely keep causing problems. We have to sit down and have those money past conversations with our partners. Guys, you need to talk about how you both grew up around money. Ask questions to each other like, how did your family handle money? Or what is your biggest money fear? This helps you both understand where each other is coming from. So you want to recognize your own money triggers. Let's be real. So are you stressed out by certain bills? Do you avoid talking about money because it makes you uncomfortable? Identifying these triggers, fellas, is the first step to controlling how you react in these financial conversations before we can even get into budgets and bills. So let's go back to talking about your mindset. A lot of us grew up in homes where the money was tight, right? Or we never really had open conversations about finances. Maybe you grew up seeing your parents stressed out every month about how they were going to pay the bills, and you saw one person controlling all the money. This is financial trauma. Whether you know it or not, these experiences completely shape how you most likely handle money today. Look, I used to completely avoid looking at my bank account because when I was growing up, money always meant stress. That was financial trauma for me. When I finally faced it, I realized that my partner, he was carrying a lot of baggage too from the way that his parents thought about money. He hated talking about it, and so we really had to work on this together. It wasn't easy, but you have to acknowledge where the behaviors come from before you can even think about moving forward. I think one of the first things that you can do is just really start by having a real conversation with her about your past. Ask her things like, what was money like growing up for you? And you have to share your own experience. This is not just one-sided. Understanding each other's financial trauma helps for you to see the certain triggers, the things that trigger the arguments, and how you move forward as a team. Number 2, the power struggle. Who is running the money? Let's talk about the power struggle. Too many of us think about us being able to control everything when it comes to money, especially if it's about making more. But fellas, this mindset will completely ruin your relationship. Money isn't about power, it's about partnership. So some of the things that we can do to overcome this is being able to split financial responsibility. So if you're handling everything, it is time to delegate. Have a conversation about who handles what. Maybe you take care of paying the bills and she manages the savings or some long-term investments that you have. Either way, sharing this responsibility builds trust and lowers stress. One of the greatest and most powerful things is setting financial meetings. So instead of letting the arguments build up, you set this monthly meeting, and it can be called a money check-in. You use this time to budget, go over your financial goals and any concerns that you are both having. This makes sure that everybody is involved with where the money is going. So number 3, the budget breakdown. So we can definitely get to this now. So we need to map our money together. Let's just be real. Budgeting is where a lot of the fights start, right? But a lot of the times, again, it's not really about the budget itself. It's really about the communication. So when you don't sit down and map out the money together, you are definitely setting yourself up for just more arguments and a not so great environment. What you need to do is sit down with your partner and, you and her map out the budget that both works for you. Start with essentials like bills, savings, and then, you want to add a fun fund, right? This is the personal spending money that you don't need to justify to each other, and it avoids arguments over small purchases. So another thing we can do is use budgeting apps. So these apps track your spending together, and they help you stay organized, and also they provide transparency so both of you know exactly where the money is going. Number 4, the debt dilemma. So we need to talk about how we can tackle debt together. Let's get into something that weighs heavy on a lot of relationships when it comes to debt. Whether it's student loans, credit card debt, or even payday loans, installment loans, it can create so much tension. We want to knock it out fast, but sometimes, maybe she wants to live a little, or maybe it's the other way around. But either way, debt isn't just a financial issue, it's an emotional one, and it will wreck your relationship if you don't face it together. So here's the move. Sit down with her and create a plan. Maybe you throw a certain percentage at the debt each month, but you also set aside a little for date nights, small trips, things that, it's okay to splurge on. The key is to find balance between what you're paying down as debt, but still enjoying your life. The bottom line is you have to be able to talk and build your future together. A lot of fights happen because you and your partner are on different pages about your future. You might want to invest in something risky like crypto, and she's focused on buying a house. Neither of you are wrong, but if you're not talking about it, you're setting yourself up for a fight. So get on the same page, sit down and figure out what your shared goals are, then plan for them. Maybe you put 10% of your income towards some risky investments, and then, the other majority goes towards something safer that gives you both peace of mind. Building together means that you're both invested in the same future. Now, here is our credit gem of the day. I have talked about this one before, but we're going to give a little upgrade strategy. That is secured credit cards. If you're looking to boost your credit score or recover from some past, oopsies that happen, right? Consider starting with a secured credit card. Unlike regular credit cards, secured cards require a deposit equal to your credit limit that you would be approved for, making them low risk for the bank and easier for you to qualify if you've had a history of some inconsistencies with your credit. The key is to use the card responsibly, making sure that you keep the balance below 30% of the limit and then paying it off in full every month. This builds a positive payment history, which is a huge factor in improving your credit score over time. But here's the extra step when I talked about the upgrade that you need to take before you apply. Ask the bank if they upgrade secured cards to unsecured cards. And then after you have proven your responsible use, then they will upgrade you. Now, not all banks do this, so knowing beforehand can help you map out a plan. If your bank does offer the upgrade, you can build your credit for a set period, then transition to the unsecured card, get your deposit back, and even qualify for a higher credit limit. This move not only boosts your credit score, but it also gives you more financial freedom down the road. If you're serious about becoming financially fit in your relationship, remember it starts with communication, understanding each other's money mindset, and working as a team. Hit that like button if you got something out of this, and make sure you subscribe for more real talk on how to improve your relationship both emotionally and financially. And hey, drop a comment below and let me know what's the biggest money fight you had in your relationship. Let's talk about it. Lastly, remember, we already have that financial for building this financial love relationship. We have the financial love covenant. It is down here in the description. Click on it, and we have a do it for you plan mapped out to make things so much simpler and so much easier for you and your partner. And please remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.